In this video, I'll walk you through the essential insurances you must have in Denmark, how much they cost, and how to avoid wasting money on the ones you don't need. Are you covered if your old dishwasher leaks water and floods your neighbor's apartment? Or what if your bike gets stolen? It can get very expensive if you don't have the right insurances in Denmark. But that's actually not the most important thing to consider. In Denmark, some insurances are mandatory to have. And who wants to be breaking the law? Insurance can be very expensive as well. In this video, I will give you some important tips on how to save money on your Danish insurance. And by the way, my name is Højlund and I'm a Dane helping foreigners like you get the most out of your life in Denmark. Before I get started, in the description below I have put all the links you need to find the cheapest and best insurance for you in Denmark. Now, let's get started. Let's start with the standard accident insurance or ulykkesforsikring. Ulykkesforsikring is not mandatory to have in Denmark, but I think it should be. An ulykkesforsikring covers accidental damage or injury you cause to others or their property. It's a good idea to have if you scratch a car with your bike or get into an accident where someone gets hurt. I think this is a good insurance to have because it's cheap. You can get one for under 1,000 Danish kroner a year. Personally, I accept to pay a high deductible in case of an accident to have a lower yearly overall premium. But that's because I'm very cautious and non-risk taken as a person. I have never made any damages to anyone's property, so I'm willing to take that risk. Knock on wood. I also think accident insurance is important because you can lean on it in situations that are really not great for you and a third party. What I mean here is that it provides some comfort and stability in a situation that might be very difficult for you personally. If you have been in an accident and have caused harm and damage to other people, it's not a nice situation. In Denmark, accident insurance is often bundled with the home contents insurance. Home content insurance is called FindForsikring in Denmark. This covers your belongings, furniture, clothes, electronics, if they are stolen or damaged by fire, flooding, or even a break-in. It's also not mandatory, and in some cases you might not need it. That would be the case where you have very few belongings of value, for example, if you are a student with an old computer, say. This computer might be the most valuable item that you have. If it's old, it doesn't really matter. Nevertheless, I would almost always recommend you to have one, just in case the apartment burns down and you are left with absolutely nothing sitting on the street. If you have a mortgage, the bank will likely make you have an insurance before issuing a loan to you. Since I have never had very expensive furniture or stuff in general, I have also here opted to pay a high deductible as I have aimed to pay as little on the premium as possible. When I lived alone in my 3-room apartment in Frederiksberg, I paid around 1,000 Danish kroner per year on this FindForsikring. Nowadays, it's probably more common that you pay 1,500 DKK for if you live alone, or maximum 3,000 DKK if you live with someone. Unless you have very expensive paintings hanging on the walls, of course. Some insurance policies also include cyber coverage, legal help, or even liability, as I mentioned earlier. So check the deals before you buy. Also, be aware that bike theft can be an expensive add-on depending on your bike's value. I've always opted out of a specific bike insurance and just bought an extra chain to lock my bike to an object on the street. I found that to be a cheaper insurance, given that my bikes are also not that expensive. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these two types of insurances and if you choose to go with a bike insurance. Do you have insurance at all? This next one has been a very confusing one for many Danes, and it has to do with travel insurance. Back in the days, you could actually count on your Danish yellow health insurance card to bail you out in emergencies in the EU. But that's no longer the case. Now you need a blue EU travel insurance card to give you the basic coverage and treatment in all EU countries when you travel. Like, for example, now when I'm in Spain. But it doesn't cover home transport and private treatment, among other things. So I recommend paying to a travel insurance covering Europe, including legal help, lost luggage, cancellations and home transport. Because, I mean, if you live in Europe, you often travel a lot in Europe, right? Everything's so close. It's not very expensive either. It will cost you around 500 DKK. I travel around 10 to 15 times to other countries per year, and it's just really nice not to worry about insurance every time you travel. Remember, in 20 minutes you can be in Sweden and technically in another country. The matter is totally different when I go intercontinental. Here I add insurance for that specific country I'm traveling to, as a world travel insurance at large can be very expensive if you paid for the entire year to cover the whole world. A little hack here can be to ask your bank for a MasterCard. The MasterCard has travel insurance, but the coverage can vary depending on the issuing bank. Sometimes you need to pay with the MasterCard for the entire travel in order to get the coverage. An extra credit card is also a good thing to have in case of emergencies. I've not opted for this option as it does cost quite a lot in interest to buy stuff with a MasterCard, but maybe it makes sense in your particular circumstance. In this video, I've mainly covered 3 types of insurances that I think everyone should have. But actually, there are several types of insurances that are mandatory in Denmark. First and foremost, a liability insurance in case you have a car. That's mandatory. This covers collision and damages made on other people and property. If you have a new car, you will also buy a casco insurance or comprehensive or full damage insurance. This covers the car itself and can be customized to cover roadside assistance, towing, parking damages, etc. If you have a very old and used car, you typically waive the casco and save some money there. Car insurance is very expensive, especially for newer and more powerful electric vehicles. I pay almost 800 DKK a month with no history of damages on my record. That's because I drive a new EV with a significant amount of horsepower. This is one of the main arguments, or this is one of the things that really bumps up the cost of having a car in Denmark. So maybe it's just more worth it just to go with a Skoda Fabia. A great car, by the way, but damn, it's ugly.
Okay.
Another example of a mandatory insurance is dog owner's liability insurance that covers damages to other dogs, people and property. The same goes if you own a horse, it also needs liability insurance. Businesses in general are obliged to have insurance to cover their employees at the very least. Finally, let me cover some tips on how you save money on insurance in Denmark. First, it's a good idea to bundle your insurances with one insurer. Most companies offer discounts if you buy multiple insurances with them, say home, liability and travel. Second, you should use price comparison tools to compare offers from different providers. I have linked to some of them in the description below, so check them out and find out what's best for you. Third advice is to set your deductible higher, especially if you don't have very expensive things and if you are cautious by nature and don't do so much damage on other things and property. The deductible is the amount you pay out of pocket before insurance kicks in. Higher deductible means a lower premium in general, so there you go, you will save some money. Fourth, you can consider just having a lock for your bike. That's much cheaper, and that's how I go about insuring my bike. Of course, if you forget to lock your bike, then you have a problem. Finally, you can oftentimes negotiate insurances with the companies, but it takes quite a while to do so, and you have to get many offers from different companies and then compare them. It does take quite a while, especially if your needs are more complex. If you found this useful, subscribe for more straight-talking guides on life in Denmark, and let me know in the comments below if my insurance advice is good or if you think that I lacked something. Maybe I can make another video on that. If you need help choosing a provider, check the description and try some of the comparison sites that I mentioned. Also, check out my other video about choosing a bank in Denmark. Here, it might be something for you now that you know everything about insurance. Thanks for watching.